Hey guys, my name's Dakota Wagner, and I'm one of the bass captains here at Evangel. And today we're going to be going over some more essentials for playing the bass here at Evangel, a way that you'll be able to do your role well, mesh with the band, and help bring just a quality worship experience on Sundays and at other events that you might play at. So the topic we're going to be covering today is we're going to be talking about when it makes sense to play and also when it makes sense to not play at all. And I think this is a topic that can be overlooked because when you think about playing your instrument, you think about being a part of the worship team, a lot of your attention is focused on what to do when you're playing, the correct way to do something when you're playing. And so I think it is equally important to focus on when you should not be playing, and then the situations where it makes sense to either not be playing or when it's time to actually come in and start playing. And so generally what we're shooting for when we're deciding when not to play or when we are going to choose to play is really we're looking at the dynamic of the song, what the other song structure is, what other members of the band are doing. And so something we have to look at is sometimes we play a song exactly like a recording, or there's a specific recorded version that we'll be playing with. And then other times we'll maybe do something with our own spin on it. It's something that we came up with ourselves, or it's something that we're covering, doing something similar to, or maybe it's a spontaneous moment where there's not going to be specifically a worship online tutorial or some chord chart or something that's going to explicitly tell you what part to play, when to come in, when to come out. So it's going to be something you're going to want to get a sense of what makes sense when you're playing. So the song we're going to be using as an example is Wellspring by Leeland, and it has a lot of dynamic range in it. It actually starts out pretty soft. There's not a whole lot of instrumentation, and then as the song progresses, of course, it does get very large with quarter note hits, and is a pretty big, powerful song. So we're gonna look at that song, and before we do, I kind of just want to talk about how I would approach this song. If we were going to play it in probably its more traditional fashion, similar to the Leeland original recording, the song kind of just starts out with a pad and keys and acoustic guitar for the first verse, and it's very low-key, so I definitely would not want to be playing there. When you think about the sonic space you occupy in a mix, something that's really important to think about is you're one of the only instruments that goes through the subwoofers, and so any playing that you do, whenever you do come in, does occupy a lot of space, and so you want to use that to your advantage. And so when we're starting out with a soft song, soft intro like that, us not coming in makes things feel of course dynamically down, but it kind of gives things more of a airy space. It really makes the mix breathe a little bit more. And so when we're in the beginning of a verse, an intro like that, not coming in is a really good approach to take. Then if we move to like the first chorus, we might come in with whole notes, just steady, low whole notes, or maybe quarter notes depending on the tempo of the song, but just to provide a little bit of a foundation. Then coming out of the first chorus, depending on the song structure, if we come in with a lot of drums on the first or the second verse, then we might want to start mixing it up a little bit more and come in. With the song like Wellspring, it does kind of fall back to a more soft verse again, and it continues like that almost until the bridge. So when we play this song, you'll be able to kind of see the approach to this and how it can drastically affect the dynamics as we play. So I think we're going to go ahead and roll that song now, and you'll be able to kind of see how I would approach this.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Verse 1. Verse 2. Chorus. Refrain. Intro. Verse 3. Verse 4. Chorus. Refrain. Interlude. Interlude. Bridge 1. Bridge 2. Bridge 1. Slowly build. Bridge 2. Build. Chorus. All in.
All right, so as you can see, when I was playing that, first verse didn't come in at all. Came in on the first chorus just to add some extra dynamic and kind of fill out the low end. Then as soon as that chorus was over, dropped out again, let the verse ride out, just lots of air, space, not any bass coming through, kind of adding more weight in that given moment. And we kind of rode that all the way till we got to the chorus again, in which case kind of just laid down another solid foundation, just a good droning kind of bass pad almost underneath. And then as we transitioned to the bridge, I dropped out again. And this is super important as we want to, when we're building, when we have a big bridge or something, starting at a very low dynamic point gives us a lot of possibility for how big we can build, how big the song can get. If I start out playing right away, I can't really build too much before we get to the end. And so when we have these longer bridges, especially like Wellspring, we have to start at a lower spot. It also just helps if a song is just super high energy level for 5 minutes straight. It can be pretty fatiguing. It's tough for worship team, worship leader. It's tough for the congregation to kind of get involved because it's just a steady dynamic level. So starting at a lower point when we're in a bridge is a really good tactic. And so then starting to get later on in that bridge, then when the bass does come in, it adds a huge lift. Typically the drums might also be coming in or having a more advanced rhythm at this time too, and so it really starts to build the intensity. It's a little bit more focused, and so then as we start building, then we can start changing from maybe quarter notes or eighth notes to maybe moving to eighths or sixteenths, really start driving. And then when we kind of release on that instrumental the bridge section of Wellspring where there's those quarter note hits, I bring in another gain stage and just add a whole other level of dynamics that I couldn't go to unless I started lower. And so it really just makes that last bridge instrumental section really big, and then we just bring it down completely to the end where I'm not playing at all. And so it kind of makes a good transition point for maybe whatever song we're going to next in the set, or maybe we're ending, maybe it's going to be going into prayer time, maybe it's any number of situations where we want to make sure we're transitioning out of that song well at the end. And most of the time, unless it's a big ending where we're doing some sort of like a trash can ending with a whole bunch of crashing out from the drums and that kind of thing, it usually makes a lot of sense to just drop out. And so that's what I did at the end of that song there. Alright guys, well thanks for checking out this video. Hopefully it helps you and helps you improve your playing and just your approach to playing bass here at Evangel and anywhere else you might be playing, whether it's with church or just your own musical pursuits, that it would help you be more focused and intentional about how you're approaching bass and how it can affect the song and kind of the experience as a whole. So we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.